Hey guys, this is a late night video that I'm doing right here. This truck is going to his owner really soon, and been having issues with several issues on the whole system. This truck is a dual tank truck with a tank selector that is electronic or electric, and um, and it has the selector, the switch is also selecting between two, the 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 actual valve, the tank selector valve, and then also it's selecting the reading of each of the fuel senders on the gas tanks. But we were having also issues with the fuel gauge. Um, we had to swap out the fuel gauge, and we have faulty fuel gauge that was actually the fuel gauge was a positive earth, so we swapped it out for a negative earth, and then we 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 put negative earth fuel senders, so now we have a paired fuel gauge and fuel sender that are communicating correctly, but we had intermittent signals of voltage from this bugger here. So this is the fuel. I'm sorry. This is the voltage stabilizer on this truck. This thing was sending intermittent signal, not signal, but actual voltage, and it fluctuates a lot because it's analog. I took this one apart here, and you can see that it's basically like bimetals that work together, and they work basically on resistance of heat, and they tend to actually react to how humid the atmosphere is, and so they're unreliable at conducing or supplying um, constant voltage to your gauge, and when that happens, you end up having a fluctuating needle that'll just bounce around. So to solve the problem, you can buy this unit basically with one of these inside the little box in here from Moss Motors. I think it'll be easier if I make my own. So I ordered these. These are from Amazon. It was the L7810, and it's 10 pieces, right? So this voltage regulator or stabilizer, however you want to call it, if you notice that it's the 10 at the last two digits, 7810, that means it's putting out 10 volts constant on the output. So they all have different values. So this one, I had this one in my storage. This one's like a -5 or something like that. So we're not using that. We're using these. These are the ones I bought. And these are it's hard to see them in the lighting here, but they're stamped with their values that are. I got these on, like I said, I got these on Amazon. L7810, and these units work like this. So you have the little the stabilizer right here, the actual chip. And then you got 3 prongs. Middle one is your ground. This one is output out, right? Output out positive. I should say output positive 10 volts. And this is voltage in, which will fluctuate between 12 to 14 volts, depending on where your battery is and where your alternator is, right? So what happens is that voltage comes in, you're grounding it, and the out is constant 10 volts. And that's very important, because otherwise your gauge will just be like jumpy and jittery as you're driving. And even these will react to even bumps, because that metal sometimes will move around. This is out of a Series 3, which has a little bit more on this one. On both of these, you can connect them to you can connect them to your temperature gauge and your fuel gauge. This one didn't come with the temperature gauge, so it only used it for the fuel gauge. And I'll show you inside the cab right now. So remember, this one is, I'm gonna write it down here so that people, L7810, and you can get them at, I think they were like $690 or something like that. So you get 10 of these for like $6. So they're and I believe this unit with one of these inside from Moss Motors is like $40. So you can get 10 of these and give your friends two, one as for them to use, and then one as a spare. Anyways, so back to how I put this together. So I have a couple of these little like sock bases, and you basically slip it. Let me see if I can do it with one hand. I'll have to do one over here. Okay. So you basically slip it into one of these. I don't know where. I had these in my electronic bin. But I don't know where to get these. I gotta find out where to get these. But what I did is I put terminals at the end of these wires, and then I put one of these for the ground, and I'll show you inside the cab what it looks like. And just so you know, here it is in the diagram. So 28, which is the voltage stabilizer for fuel gauge and temperature gauge. So you can see here, green comes in, powers it up, and then out, which is a light green. One goes to the fuel gauge, and the other one goes to the temperature gauge. And then these basically go through the fuel sender or the temperature sender, and then they get grounded, right? So this is power in, and over here at the end they're grounded. So I'm going to show you in the cab what it looks like on these, and I'll show you the voltage. So here inside, the way I installed it is very simple, and I like these. I like these with the little base, because if you ever have an issue, all you gotta do is pull it out and slip another one in. You don't have to ground it here, but it's advisable. You can just, obviously you're taking ground from the black middle wire, and you can see here I put a terminal at the end, which is a spade connector, and I did it right into the original wiring without modifying it. That's where the stabilizer was connected to. And then I have the yellow, that's the one. Red, which is on this car. We have green and red, which is supplying power. And then the ground is, I grounded it at right here to the fuel gauge cluster, instrument cluster. And I'm gonna show you, see if I can do it I have this. Let me zoom out a little bit. So I have this probe, and I'm going to show you on here. We got 13 volts coming in at the moment, and then I'm going to show you here on the green one. See if I can get it. Let me see if I can do it again. Okay. I can't do it with one hand. Why is it giving me? Hold on a second. Let me put you down. Oh, duh. I had to turn on the ignition. Duh. So here is 13 coming in, and there you go. Output. You can see it every time I touch it. There you go. 10 volts exactly. So there you go. 10 volts are exact coming out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna secure this and screw it to the back of the wall with this little screw here. You don't have to, but you can just leave it floating. But I'd rather just secure it to the firewall. And for under $6, and you'll have spares to carry, which I doubt. This is a solid state unit, so it'll be very hard to I mean, it'll take time before they ever go bad, but I'm sure they do have the chance of going bad. So anyhow,